Okay, what is going on, team? Here we are again, or I am again, in what I've been calling the spaceship, aka the studio. This is where all the best podcasting happens. Welcome into the elderly care, in-home elderly care live stream. If you watch any of these videos, you know that I'm doing a series of videos on doing elderly care. Doesn't have to be elderly. Could be anybody, probably going to be someone that's elderly, though, in home, okay? So you've vetted through the nursing homes and the, what's the other word I'm looking for here? The assisted living facilities. That's what I'm trying to say. The assisted living facilities, you've looked through all of those. You're like, they're not a fit for whatever reason. The customer doesn't want it. We don't want it as the stakeholders. The customer and the stakeholders don't want it. Everyone wants it. You can't afford it. You know, could be a number of things. The only assisted living facility there just isn't a good fit for whatever reason. And you're doing this. So you said, okay, Grandpa, okay, Uncle Carl, I'll take care of you. I'll help you out. And as always, I use the case study of my grandmother, Ruth C. Kenton, who I helped in the last years of her life all the way up to term until she passed away in September of 2023. I've been taking questions the last couple of weeks. I'm going to do that again today. Keep the questions coming because that's really the heart of what all of this is. Or I mean, you can look at videos. It's like everything else, right? You want to learn something, you go to YouTube, of course, to figure it out, and you get some knowledge, of course, from whatever videos you watch. But if you're taking on an actual trade, how can I put this into proper context? If you're looking to change out the alternator on a 1997 Honda Accord, okay, you can probably watch a video or two and get the process down, all right? It's going to be pretty standard across the board for all 1997 Honda Accords. But if you're trying to learn like a new trade or a new skill, which this is more in line with, you're only going to scratch the surface with videos, and everything's going to come down to context and situational situational preparedness. And that's more of what we're looking at here. So that's why I say keep the questions coming, because I think as more people look at these videos and I think in-home elderly care is just going to flat out become more of a thing. Cost of living is higher. People are living longer. There's a whole lot more considerations going out in the world, and that's the way it was always done from the history of humanity. You know, it's only been in the last 80 years, 100 years, whatever number you want to put on it, something in the modern world that we've taken the elderly and put them in assisted care facilities. And not that there's something wrong with that if that is the proper choice for you and the customer, but just saying it's a new thing, you know, of the world. It's not something that was happening in the Renaissance period, or at least nothing I've seen. Someone will blow me up in the comments. Oh, no. Actually, in Sicily in 1439, there's a record of a elderly care facility, and they used to do that. Okay, are we talking about the rule or the exception to the rule, right? I'm talking about the rule, big dog. So let me get this slide up because I've got a question that we'll go over and try and bring some guidance and clarity to this situation. So here we go. Let me get this thing up here. Boom, boom, booyah. All right, I'm getting there. And take. That's what we used to say in the film world, right? You're doing a live broadcast. You've got your preview and program monitor up. And when you want to go live on it, you say take. Camera 2, take. Okay, so this is question number 3 that we're going to be looking at today. I'm going to pull it up here. Here we go. This question says, as a full-time caregiver for my grandmother, I often feel overwhelmed and exhausted. Do you have any tips for managing caregiver burnout while still providing good care? Hey, get out of my head, okay? I'm just going to go off rip here on this one. That was so much of what I encountered and dealt with. At first, there's a novelty to the whole situation, and you're trying to get acclimated to everything. So is the customer, and you get a great sense of accomplishment right off rip, because everything that you're doing and the things that you're implementing, well, they're all fresh to the process. They're fresh to you, they're fresh to the customer, and you can probably see that it's making a difference right away. And that's rewarding, and that's great. It's great that it's rewarding. It's rewarding to you, and the customer, of course, appreciates it as well. But when you get into doing long-term in-home elderly care, which is what I think the lion's share of the situations are, so these multi-year endeavors, because we don't know, even when someone, and hey, maybe there's a situation and somebody is dealing with a terminal illness long-term, and it's becoming apparent that they're not going to have much time, okay? And maybe they're even going to move immediately into hospice care. Hey, there's some stuff here in these videos that would help you, but I tell you that that's a different situation than what I'm talking about with doing in-home elderly care. And so looking at these things long-term, burnout is the main thing that I dealt with, or one of the major things that I dealt with, because you're, again, going into a multi-year process, and it's not anymore, there's not that novelty there, because at first you're doing all of these sweeping changes, and it's this and this, and we're putting together a schedule, and we're putting together a dietary plan, and we're getting all of the medication sorted, and we're getting all the doctor stuff sorted, and we're getting all the bills sorted. We're just getting everything sorted and aligned, and especially with the way the world's changed over the last X amount of years, and from that generation, or my grandmother's generation, which was the greatest generation, that W.W. Deuce generation, they really saw the world come about. You got to think, when they were kids, it would be wild to see an automobile. Okay, so starting from there to seeing proliferation of automobiles, of aviation, of roads and highways, all the way through the tech revolution that we've seen over the last 20 years. And you're getting all of that stuff caught up, for them, because they don't have a clue about it. And that was the way it was for my grandmother. She did not have an email. She did not have a laptop. I do IT work as well, and I overheard her one time telling somebody in a description that he got a job in, quote, cyberspace. He got a job in cyberspace. That was the way that she interpreted and internalized it. So you're doing all of this stuff right out the gate and getting everything set up. Then you move into the maintenance phase. Oh, man. And there's not that novelty. There's not all these big sweeping changes happening. And it's just the grinding out of day to day. That's where you're going to start experiencing burnout, okay? And I know that I sure did. What I would say to this question is, number one, and I've discussed this in other videos, you have to live your life, okay? That is first and foremost when it comes to you as the caregiver taking care of yourself. You cannot stop your life. You cannot, there's going to be some natural sacrifice there, because that is just the name of the game. There's going to be some natural sacrifice there. But stopping your life, okay? And what would stopping your life look like? Some examples. Okay, I've got one. You have an opportunity to take a major promotion or a major leg up in your career field, but it's going to require you to either move or put you in a position where you're not going to be able to continue doing the in-home elderly care. And I'm not saying you've got to take that position, but you absolutely can't turn it down just because you're taking care of the customer, okay? That's something that it's gonna totally take you out of the spirit of being a good steward of taking care of that customer. You don't want to do that. You have an opportunity for a relationship, especially a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, or you're already in a romantic relationship, and that relationship is about to incorporate a change. Again, it could be a location change. It could be a marital status change. It could be welcoming a new member to the family, right? You cannot stop your life for that, okay? So that's one of the first things I would tell you if you're dealing with burnout is to live your life, continue living your life, okay? And I've spoken in other videos about not just living your life, but, living your life in the best postured way, making healthy choices, etc. I like to have a drink from time to time, fine. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, whatever, fine. But you don't want to turn to a bad habits and lifestyle because you're dealing with all this burnout and it seems like it's crushing your soul, which it can just be very frustrating, especially whatever's happening in the house. You don't want to turn to those bad lifestyle habits in order to in order to numb that pain. It's we know this. It's going to be successful in the short term, but that's a very short term, right? And the long term, it will be unsuccessful. And we've got examples all across the board of, you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. And at a minimum, get out of the house. Get out of the house. If the customer needs full-time care, then we've talked about setting up a schedule of other caregivers or other stakeholders that can come over and stay with the customer. Set that up and then get out of the house. And again, it doesn't have to be something like, I got to go hit the bar and, slam 8 beers down and then I'll be fine. Doesn't have to be something like that. And of course I wouldn't recommend that. And then, getting in the car afterwards, right? Call it Uber if you're doing something like that. But going out for a jog, or I like to do physical fitness, so for a jog or a hike or going to the gym, something like that, spending time with friends, those are the kind of things that you would want to do. And then lastly, I'll say about this, look, it's some level of burnout is inevitable, okay? Some level of burnout is inevitable. And here's my thought to you on that is don't be surprised by it, okay? Expect it, right? When you're reacting to a situation, especially when it's something that catches you by surprise, it catches you off guard, there can be an added sense of apprehension or like an emotional reaction on your end because of that, because not only are you frustrated, but you weren't even expecting to be frustrated or have to deal with that, and it can catch you off guard. You can start mentally and emotionally preparing for it now, okay? And having some of the things that I said or whatever it is you do to unwind and pursue your healthy lifestyle, your best version of yourself, go ahead and have those things set up, okay? Because some level of burnout will happen, all right? Great. I hope that response was helpful. Here we go, and the last slide. If you've got questions for me, send them on over. Mario@thealphaitalian.com, name and location. Same thing for the comments of this video. If you've got a question, put it in the comments. I'll check it. I don't check everything, but being overloaded by comments on these videos has not been a problem of yet. So there's a heavy probability that I would get to it. All right. That's it for today. I will come back on and answer more questions, go over some more stuff about doing in-home elderly care. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.